Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sense5. Welcome to the channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're a lovely subscriber. Today I'm going to be continuing my vinyl collection video, and well, I got into part 4. This would be the second last part. Then the last part, which uh, may or may not be tomorrow, depending if I'm in the mood or not, will be I'll be doing part 5, which will be temptations to miscellaneous, because I'll be showing miscellaneous records I own. Or I'll just put, I'll put temptations to zombies, and then I'll show miscellaneous records. But without further ado, let's begin. As you can see in the title, it is the Rolling Stones I started off with, and well, I have tons of them. Here's the first record I own, their debut album, the first album in England. Yeah, I like their debut album. I don't love their debut album. Actually own the mono, and I've actually owned the mono box set, the one with the colored records. I'll show one of these because I already did a video on the Rolling Stone box set. So if you haven't saw it, well, go on my channel. Or subscribe to my channel and watch it, because I did upload it. Here's an original of their debut album. Yeah, Pork Edition. I definitely needed that reissue because it's pretty hard to find their debut in good condition. An original, that is. Here's their debut. Hey Scott, thanks for stopping by. Here's the Rolling Stones debut album in the U.S., famously called England's Newest Hitmakers, or what our group chat calls it, England's newest cover band, because there are lots of covers on the album. Fun fact, I'm watching this on my CRT TV. Cool. Here's their second album, Rolling Stones number 2. This is either an original copy or close to it. This is a really early pressing of it. I bought this for really expensive. This is a really good condition. I'm very happy I own this copy of this album. England's newest hate makers. That's funny. Here's their second album, but again, the mono box set. I won't be showing every individual copy of these albums because I'll be making this video forever, and I don't want to last that long. That's like the example. There's a couple of examples I'll show, different versions, but here's 12 by 5. Much better than the UK version. I like number 2, but I love 12 by 5. Here's the first version I own. Really good. Another good condition album. Here is the Rolling Stones Now. Really good album. Here is the US version of Out of Our Heads. I do own 2 earlier versions, but that's the nicest cover I have of it. Love Out of Our Heads. That's like to me that's their first like really, really good album, in my opinion. Was that. That's December's. Give me 1 second. Mental here. Here is the UK version of Out of Our Heads. I like this version. It's a fine album. But I much prefer the US version because the US version has Satisfaction, Last Time, Play with Fire. Um, those three songs alone make it much better than this version. And not only that, but the US version was actually the first version of this album. This is actually the butchered version of the album. So that's just a little fun fact about that. No, most of the time the UK is the first one, and the US is the butchered version. Like when we're talking about the Beatles, but you just need to know that part about it. Um, Here is December's Children and Everybody's. This and the Now album are two US exclusive albums. Uh, really good album. Not as good as the last, not as good as Out of Our Heads, but still some of my favorite songs. Like in terms of the two highs on this album, Get Out of My Cloud and As Years Go By, those two songs beat anything on Out of Our Heads. But as a whole, I'd say Out of Our Heads is slightly better. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Here is UK version of Aftermath. This is one of my favorite Stones albums. This is their first album with all originals, and definitely shows the improvement of the band. Because on the previous albums, it's starting to show that the originals are starting to get a lot better than their covers. So even the Stones started to think that. So I'm glad they went in that direction. Here is a US mono version of this album. Yep, here's a US mono version of it. I have one from the box set, but I own this. This is like one of the first albums I ever got from the Stones, and pretty happy to have it. This was really hard to get, so I'm happy to own it. Of course, this this takes out 4 songs off of the UK version: Mother's Little Helper, Take It or Leave It, Out of Time, and of course, What to Do. And they replaced that with Painted Black. I love Painted Black, but in my opinion, I will say I prefer the UK version because it's more songs, and the songs they took out are some of my favorites on the album. So that's that. Well, that Aftermath is in great condition. It is. Usually I have lots of ringwear. Yes, I'm shocked. I got this was really. It wasn't too expensive either. It was like $30 when I got it, so it was like it wasn't that much. So this was like kind of a steal for me. I'm very happy to own this in this condition. Now, here's Between the Buttons. Here's the UK version of it. This definitely is definitely a different album. I don't think they'll ever have an album quite the same as this one. More Baroque pop, show hall tunes, very different. They're starting to really take a more pop direction. They still have rockers on here, but you could definitely tell a difference between this album. Here is Miss Amanda Jones. That's an example of one of the rockers on the album. Probably my favorite. One if not my absolute favorite on the album. It's really good. Here is a US version of the album, Between the Buttons. Again, I will say I do prefer the the UK version. Aftermath and Between the Buttons are the only two albums I'd say I prefer the UK versions of. Early Stones, I'd say the US versions are the better versions because it has a lot of those singles that the albums desperately needed. But in this part of the Stones' career, I'd say they've really became an album band at this time, and yeah, really enjoyable. Here's a compilation that Scott kind of consider this to be part of their catalog, and that's gonna be Flowers. This takes most of the songs from Aftermath that weren't on the UK Aftermath, like At a Time, Take It or Leave It, and Mother's Little Helper. They put it on here. Um, I'm trying to think what else. Um, Backstreet Girl and Please Go Home were also on here. That was on the UK Between the Buttons. Ruby Tuesday and Let's Spend the Night Together are on the US Between the Buttons, but they decided to put it on here anyway. Have You Seen Your Mother's Baby? Staying in the Shadow. Awesome psychedelic single. Lady Jane. Little unnecessary. In my opinion. My Girl. I'm the only one who likes their version of that song. Ride On Baby and Sitting on a Fence. Those two songs are freaking amazing. Those two songs. I love Flowers, but I would like to hear some of the B sides over Let's Spend the Night Together again. Yeah, and Ruby Tuesday. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Scott. They could have been a perfect version of this. Like, yeah, Sad Day from the B side to 19 Nervous Breakdown, Long While, the B side of Painted Black, and What to Do from Aftermath. So they could instead of having those three repeat tracks, they could have taken those three songs and put it on there. But and Who's Riding Your Plane, that also should have been on here as well. But yeah, that's my only complaint about this album is that too many repeats on here. Okay, here's the infamous album. Their Satanic Majesty's Request. Yeah, here this is an original U.S. version of the album. Bought this for like $50. Decent condition. It's in good condition. Yeah, I love this album. I'll defend it to the end of time. This is one of the albums that I'll never stop defending. Citadel, 2000 Man, some great songs I really like. Here's Beggar's Banquet. Love Beggar's Banquet. Awesome album. Sympathy for the Devil. No Expectations. Dear Doctor. Parachute Woman. Jigsaw Puzzle. Street Fighting Man. Prodigal Son. Factory Girl. Salt of the Earth. Some absolute amazing songs on here. I do own one with the original cover, so there's that. Salt on the Earth. Here is Let It Bleed. This album's incredible. Another incredible Stones album. Love Let It Bleed. Give Me Shelter, of course. Can't Always Get What You Want. Midnight Rambler. Monkey Man. Live With Me. Some great songs. Their best album. Yeah, that's a good choice. May or may not be my favorite album. We'll see where it lands on my top 100. Sticky Fingers. This album's awesome. This album definitely grew on me the most. That's the last time I'll show the album cover. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the album cover. Yeah. Sticky Fingers is such an epic album. It has Brown Sugar, Sway. Put that away. Yeah, I put it away already. Wild Horses. Can You Hear Me Knocking? Bitch. It's a great song. Sister Morphine. Dead Flowers. There's another song, something about I Got the Blues or something like that. I love that song. And Moonlit Mile. That's a great song. Great album, terrible cover. I certainly agree, Scott. I never got the appeal of that album cover. Hey guys. Hey Caleb. Just showing off my records. Uh, Here is Exile on Main Street. Much better album cover, in my opinion. Yeah, this is a fantastic album. Uh, this is just an epic double album. If I was gonna tell you great songs on this album, I'll just basically say the whole album. Another amazing album. Here is Goat's Head Soup. Well, I guess we're the wrong gender to get the appeal of the cover. Yeah, I know. I hate that album cover. Goat's Head Soup, not much better of an album cover. That's another one I'll just put away right away. Another fantastic album. I nickname it their Led Zeppelin 3 because 9 of the 10 songs on that album are just so good. Dancing with Mr. D, Coming Back, Heartbreaker, Angie, Winter. Also just naming only a chunk of, like a small chunk of the album. There's some other amazing songs I really like. Here's the album we just reviewed on my channel. That is, It's Only Rock and Roll. This album is criminally underrated. So many bangers on here. If You Can't Rock Me, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, It's Only Rock and Roll, Till the Next Goodbye, Time Waits for No One. Of course, that song's freaking epic. Luxury, I was one of my favorites. Fingerprint File, some just amazing songs. If You Really Want to Be My Friend, great song. Yep, Starfucker. Definitely one of their songs of all time. Here's another album that grew on me the most, and that is Black and Blue. This album is an album that I won't lie, I hated this album when I first heard it. I thought this was a load of rubbish. I didn't like it. This is when me, Scott, and Breyer ranked all the Stones albums from um, 64 to 1981. I trashed on this album. I was not holding back. But man, this album has grown on me. Another bad album cover. Yeah, the album cover's bad, but I love the gatefold. In my opinion, this should have been the album cover. If you're asking me, this would have been an amazing album cover. I don't know if you agree with me or not. I'll show it. I don't know if this is a good. This should have been the album cover. If you're asking me. Yeah. Hot Stuff. We'll get the songs because I haven't listened to the album in a while. I know the song names, but I don't remember the order. Hot Stuff I love. Stupid, but yeah, I love it. Hand of Fate is epic. Memory Motel is an amazing ballad. Hey Negrita, I like it. It's not like one of the best songs in the world. Fool to Cry, man, I love Fool to Cry, and Crazy Mama. That's a great closing track. There are 2 abysmal songs on this album. Cherry O Baby. I despise that song. From the first time I heard it to now, I will always hate Cherry O Baby. Terrible cover, terrible song cover, I should say. And Melody, even worse, to be honest. I think that's arguably one of the worst songs they've ever made, was Melody. Not very good. Here's one of their most iconic albums. Some Girls. Yeah, Some Girls. This album, man, this is a really, really good album. And I love the album cover. Always been one of my favorite album covers. Miss You, When the Whip Comes Down, Just in My Imagination, Some Girls. There's some pretty controversial lyrics on that song, but I love it. Shattered, um, Lies. I love Lies. Faraway Eyes. Man, I love Faraway Eyes. Respectable. Before They Make Me Run, definitely the weakest on the album. Beast of Burden, and of course Shattered. What a great album. Definitely an album that if you're an up and coming Stones fan, you got to check that album out. Here's their follow up album, Emotional Rescue. In my opinion, their most underrated album. I love Emotional Rescue. Uh, there's some bangers tracks on this album. Dance, Summer Romance, Send It to Me, Indian Girl, love Indian Girl, Where the Boys Go. I love the title track, even though it's a little stupid. I love the title track. She's So Cold. I love She's So Cold. And All About You. This is such a great album, such an underrated album too, if you're asking me. One of their most underrated albums. I know Jacob loves the title song. Yeah, I know he hates that song. uh Next song though, next album. Uh Tattoo You. This is the first album I've ever heard from them. Uh I freaking love this album. To me, this will always be one of my favorite Stones albums. A little bias for me, a little bit. Start Me Up, banger of a song. Hang Fire, Slave, Little TNA, one of my favorite Stones songs. Probably my favorite Keith Richard lead sung vocal, in my opinion. Black Limousine, love Black Limousine. Neighbors, one of my least favorites. Worried About You is amazing. Tops is great. I'll take you to the top. Heaven is great. No Use in Crying is pretty good, and Waiting on a Friend. What an amazing album closer. I'm just waiting on a lady. I'm just waiting on a friend. Undercover of the Night. That's another album I'll immediately put the album cover away because that album cover is terrible. Yeah, as Scott would say before, put that away. Yeah, don't like that album cover. Speaking of cover, I love the song Undercover. That's a great song. It's a fun 80s song. She's Hot is great. I Want to Hold You. Just gotta look at the track listing on the side. Want to Hold You. Too Much Blood. It Must Be Hell. Some great songs on here. Pretty underrated album. Another underrated Stones album, if you're asking me. The next album, Dirty Work. Yeah, Dirty Work. Yeah, I gotta take the record out for the track list because it doesn't have it on the back because they're annoying, in my opinion. One Hit to the Body, epic opening track. I love One Hit to the Body. That's a great song. Harlem Shuffle's great. Too Rude. One of the better reggae songs they've done, in my opinion. Winning Ugly is great. Back to Zero, Dirty Work, Had It With You, and Sleep Tonight. Some great songs. I'd say side one a little bit of a rough patch, but side two I really enjoy. Not a Stones album I really go back to, but at the end of the day, I think this is an underrated Stones album. My opinion. Now we got Steel Wheels. This is their they're pretty much their big comeback album after the last two albums. Uh, this is a really good album. Another, I mean, you're gonna hear. I'm a big Stones fan, so there's gonna be a lot of really good albums for me. Sad, Sad, Sad is a great opener. Mixed Emotions is amazing. Terrifying is great. Blinded by Love, I really enjoy. Side two, Rock at a Hard Place, I really enjoy. Continental Drift, it's weird, but I love it. Slipping Away, I enjoy. I love this album. Oh, I'm not even showing the album cover anymore. Uh, I love this album, Steel Wheels. Another extremely underrated album. Here's another album I really enjoy, Voodoo Lounge. There's some there's some killer songs on here that no one talks about. You Got Me Rocking, New Faces, Out of Tears, Sweethearts Together, I really enjoy. Blinded by Rainbows. This is a really good album. This is an album I've always really enjoyed. I'm so glad I have this on vinyl. It's such a good album. Um, Here is Bridges to Babylon. Yeah, Bridges to Babylon. Um, I'll say this: the songs have potential of being good, but man, the production on this album sucks. There are some good songs on here. I haven't heard this album in a while, so I don't remember them at the moment. But there are some killer songs in here I remember. But man, the production is terrible on this album. That's my biggest complaint about it is that darn production. Here's an album that Jason really likes. That is A Bigger Bang. And well, I disagree. I don't like this album. This is an album I never cared for. To me, there's just way too many songs that are just unmemorable to me. Um, just not that big of a fan of this album, if I'm being honest. Um, we're getting close to being 1 year into our Soul series. Yeah, I know it doesn't it doesn't look like we're going to be done anytime soon. So it's gonna be a while until we're done with that series. Um, uh, Black and Blue. I mean, Black and Blue, Blue and Lonesome. That's all I gotta say about that album. Yeah, I don't really care for the album. Way too bluesy. I don't care for any of the songs on the album. Um, Here's an album I do really like, Hackney Diamonds. This album, in my opinion, is so good. I remember being so I remember like being so pessimistic. I'm like, no way the Stones are gonna make another good album. I mean, after the atrocity of Blue and Lonesome, and they released a song called "Living in a Ghost Town." They released that during like around COVID times. I thought that song was terrible. I'm like, I am not looking forward to a new Stones album. I heard the upcoming single "Angry." I loved it immediately. I heard the other single, Sweet Sounds of Heaven. I love that as well. And I love this album, Hackney Diamonds. Killer album. I know there'll be diehard Stone fans that will kill me for saying this, but to me, this is an amazing last album if this is their last album. Okay, that will conclude all the regular albums. This doesn't conclude the Stones yet. I have some more compilations. So there's that. I own Big Hits, High Tide, and Green Grass, UK version. High Tide Green Grass US version. If you want to know the difference between the US and the UK version, look it up yourself because this video is already going to take forever. Sorry, whoever wants to know. Here is Through the Past Darkly, Big Hits Volume 2. Comes in this cool record. There's like a US and a UK version, but again, look up the differences because again, I don't feel like going through that right now. Here is Volume 2, whichever version. What's cool about this is that the inner sleeve is also that shape on this version that I'm showing. Cool album covers. Here is Stray Cats. Basically, for the mono box set, it's basically it's basically let me think. It's basically past masters. Basically, there's a lot of singles that were never on albums, like Sad Day, Long While, Who's Driving Your Plane, We Love You, Dandelion, Not Fade Away, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Child of the Moon, Honky Tonk Woman, I Want to Be Loved, Fortune Teller. So basically, they're past masters from 64 to 71. Really like this album. Here is Jamming with Edward. Yeah. This is an album that I've always wanted to have because of that weird album cover. Yeah. It's basically a jam session album. We're not going to cover this in our Rolling Stones series, but I just wanted to show this. And last but not least, the album that kind of started it all, and that's, of course, Hot Rocks, 64 to 71. This is the 5th record I ever bought. This is their greatest hits from 64 to 71, like I just said. Really good album if you're new to the Stones, you want to know what their hits are from that period. Okay, that will be it for the Stones. Half hour of the video was just me showing the Stones. Pretty crazy to think about that, but that's how it is. But I'll get the second batch of records and I'll be right back. Okay, I am ready. And I have the second batch of records. It'll only be 2 batches instead of 3 from like last time. Okay. The Runaways with The Runaways. This is another album I bought because it had the big hit on it, Cherry Bomb from the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. So I've never heard it before, but I do plan on listening to it at some points. I do love Cherry Bomb, though. That's a great song. Cherry Bomb. Here is Rupert Holmes, Partners in Crime. And if you don't know who he is the one who does the very famous Do You Like Pina Coladas or Getting Caught in the Rain? Yeah. Incredible album. Definitely check it out. Partners in Crime. This is actually a pretty good album. This is another album I bought because of the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. So definitely check this out. By the way, if anyone's in the comment section, let me know if my internet's good or not, because my computer's saying my internet's not good at all. So let me know in the comments if my internet's good or not. Please and thank you. Here's my. I'll need to check it out. I like that song. Yeah, it's a pretty good album. I wouldn't say it's a amazing albums, but I do like that song. The vocals you hear on Pina Colada song were the first time he ever sang the song. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Now for the Rush albums I own. Caress of Steel. This is Rush's third album. Hello. How you doing? Thank you for commenting on the live chat. I appreciate it. This is their third album. This was like the first album that Rush was really trying to get into progressive rock. Of course, the record label was like, how about you don't do that, and or else we'll drop you from the label. And then Rush, my Caress of Steel isn't a gatefold. Yeah, my copy of Caress of Steel is an original. So definitely, you should definitely get an original with the gatefold because I do like the gatefold. Here is an album that should be in a gatefold but isn't on my cover. That is 2112. This is the follow up to Caress of Steel. This is like their way of saying, fuck you, we're still gonna do the prog, and this was like their big breakthrough album. I love it. Of course, 2112 is a legendary album. 2112, the song is just one epic song. Side 2 is great too. Passenger Bangkok, Twilight Zone, Lessons, and Tears, and Something for Nothing. All great songs. Here is a Farewell to Kings. Their follow-up album, another gatefold. This is, to me, I think this is slightly better than 2112. Xanadu, one of their best songs they've ever made. Farewell to Kings, Closer to the Heart. I mean, that song's so good. Cinderella Man, Madrigal, and Cygnus X1, great song. My 2112 is a gatefold. I just checked. Yeah, that's an original. That's the one. That's the one most people want. I definitely plan on getting a gatefold 2112 at some point. Here is my copy of Hemispheres. Another gatefold. Yeah, Rush had a gate. Rush really liked their gatefolds. Cygnus X1, Book 2. It has the dude and the star inside. Yeah, I know, but I don't have it. I wish I could confirm it, but I don't. I know what it looks like. Here's Cygnus X1, Book 2. Hemispheres is also another name. It's called. Circumstances I really enjoy. The Trees and the La Via Strangiato. Those 4 songs are. I'll say I really like Hemispheres, but in my opinion, I feel like this album goes a little overboard with the progressive rock. I feel like, in my opinion, they're going too overboard. I like this album, I really do, but I don't go back to it that often because of how overboard they go. Fly By Night is my fave. Hey, that's a good choice. Well, that's 2. Well, that's 2. It's Jason's favorite too. I know. I never thought I'd know 2 people that. I didn't know I would ever find 2 people who would say that's their favorite album. I like that album though. Here is Permanent Waves. In my opinion, one of their best albums. Spirit of Radio, Free Will, Jacob's Ladder, Entre Nous, Different Strings, and Natural Science. Hemispheres and Permanent Waves are my faves. Yeah, those are. Hello, Nature Boy. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for commenting. Great choices. Again, I love Hemisphere, but it's just not one of the albums I really go back to that often because of how intricate it is. Yep, I agree. Moving Pictures is in fact a masterpiece. I love Moving Pictures. Of course, Tom Sawyer is an epic song. Red Barchetta, YYZ, Limelight, great songs. Camera Eye, Witch Hunt, and Vital Signs, which is my favorite, still my favorite Rush song, by the way. I saw them on Presto Tour. It was killer. Oh, cool. Moving Pictures, my favorite. Permanent Waves was second. Yeah, good choices. Those are great choices. Here is one of my favorite albums from them. Camera Eye Rules. Yes, I love that song. Yeah, that song grew on me the most for me. Here's Signals. Man, Signals is criminally underrated compared to their other songs. All 7 songs are perfect. I couldn't agree with you more, Scott. Those songs are great. Subdivisions. Subdivisions. I love that song. Analog Kid. Yeah, Subdivisions. That's a great. I love that song. The Analog Kid. Chemistry. And Chemistry never gets talked about enough. Subdivision's my favorite Rush song. That's a great song. Signals is awesome. I love Countdown. That's a great song. That's the last song on the album. That's a amazing song. Digital Man. I love another more into the reggae. The Weapon. New World Man and Losing It. Oh, this album is. Yeah, Losing It is the most underrated Rush song. I couldn't agree with you more, Scott. It's one of my all-time favorite Rush songs. And this will be the last of my Rush I have, and that will be Power Windows, The Big Money, great song, Grand Designs, really good. Manhattan Project I love, Marathons is great, Territories, Middletown Dreams. Another great album. This is an album I'd never expected to own. I mean to love. You Need Hold Your Fire. Yeah, I plan on owning their first album. Fly By Night. Definitely plan on owning. I want to own all their albums. I'm a completionist. I'm definitely gonna plan on owning all their albums if I can. That'll be all my Rush albums. Hopefully everyone who joined me stays for the rest of these. I'm getting closer to the end. Not closer, but I'm getting closer to the end. Here is my Simon & Garfunkel collection. Second best player, John Entwistle, number 1. Yeah, it's a great bass player. No, he's not. LOL. Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. Closer to the heart? Question mark. Yeah. Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. Their first album, second album I ever owned. I love this album. I love Simon & Garfunkel. They're a band that I've always duo. I really appreciate it. Actually, I said band. Of course, this has their very famous song, Sounds of Silence, but it is the acoustic version, but still can't argue with that. Here's the follow-up album, Sounds of Silence, as the popular version of Sounds of Silence, the one with the electric guitars and all that. I do prefer the acoustic version, but still. Leaves Out of Green, Kathy's Song, Richard Corey, April Come She Will, We Got a Groovy Thing Going, and I'm a Rock. Surprisingly dark album lyrically. Yeah, this is definitely the darkest album. There's 2 songs that have suicide in it. Richard Corey and Most Peculiar Man. Those 2 albums have suicide at the end of those 2 songs, which is sad. Very, very sad. Jewish folk music. If you want to put it that way. That's funny. Here is easily their best album, in my opinion. Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. I need to get a better album cover. I need to get another better version of this album. To me, this is their best album. Love it. Love that one. Yeah, I love this album. Scarborough Fair, Patterns, Cloudy, Homeward Bound, Big Bright Green Machine, 59th Street Song, Flowers Never Bend with the Rainfall, Simple Desultory Prolific, the Bob Dylan song, For Emily Whenever I May Find Her, and 7 O'Clock News. Man, heavy hitters. Here is Rush, my favorite band. Pink Floyd second. The Who aren't even in my top 20. Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, that's your opinion, man. Can't blame. I won't judge you. Hopefully, don't judge me. I'm glad Rush is your favorite band. Rush is incredible. Here is Simon & Garfunkel's fourth album. I mean, Bookends. Have the hype sticker for Mrs. Robinson. Really good album. Half concept, half just singles. Really good album. Mrs. Robinson. Amazing song. Faking It. Love that song. I know I'm faking it. Faking it. Here is I only have the Graduate soundtrack. You should get more albums. If you like Simon Garfunkel, you should get more of their albums. If you want to ask an album I recommend, Bridge Over Troubled Water is an album I recommend. Of course, this has the very famous Bridge Over Troubled Water, El Condor Pasa, Cecilia, Keep the Customer Satisfied, Boxer, Only Living Boy in New York. Great songs. Lastly, I do have a greatest hits. That'll be the last I show of that. Peter Hook, Flea, and Sting are awesome bass players. Yeah, Sting is great. Not familiar with Peter Hook or Flea though. I know Flea's from Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm not crazy about Red Hot Chili Peppers, but they're pretty good. That's my favorite song of all time. I Know You Mean. Sting is super underrated as a bassist. Yeah, I agree. Bring on the Night, sick bass line. Okay, now we gotta reach the small faces portion of the video. Here's their debut album, Small Faces. Really, really good album. Kind of like this is basically their take on the Who's debut, kind of. I don't like Chili Peppers either. Tea in the Sahara always rocks the speakers. Yeah, great. Dope song. Yeah, I love that song, Tea in the Sahara. Go back to this though. Come On Children, You Better Believe It. Sha-la-la-la-lee. Sorry She's Mine. Some great songs there. Here's their second album, Small Faces. Yes, they have 2 self-titled albums. This is an album that they wrote entirely of their own music, and it sounds incredible. Green Circles, some great songs. Here's I have 20 Frank Sinatra albums. I should do a video. Yeah, I'll check your channel out. Yeah, I'll make sure to check it out at some point. There Are But Small Faces was my favorite by them. Yeah, this is a great album. There Are But Small Faces. Ichiku Park. I Feel Much Better. I'm Only Dreaming and Tin Soldier are really, really good album. Really, really good songs, I should say. Okay. Here's their follow-up album, Ogden's Not Gone Flake. Uh, this is the weirdest album you'll ever listen to. I do own an original, but I'm keeping that in safekeeping right now. But yeah, here's an original, not an original, reissue. Yeah, it's a very weird album to say the least. Really enjoy it. Here's their album Playmates. That's about it with me showing that album cover because it sucks. And here's their Small Faces 78 in shade. There's that. And from the beginning, there's that. And the History of Small Faces, a compilation. So those are the last of the Small Faces. I will admit, Tommy and Quadrophenia were great Who albums. Those are killer albums. I'm glad you like those albums, especially Quadrophenia. It's a great album. I have to admit, I'm not very familiar with the Faces at all. The bass tone on Quadrophenia is immense. Great. I can smell the drugs from here. Yeah, it's a very druggy album. definitely some drugs in the making of that album. Here's Smokey Robinson. I like the first album with Rod Stewart. Yeah, that's just Faces. Here's their Going to the Go-Go. Really good album. Tracking My Tears, Going to a Go-Go, Ooh Baby, My Girl Is Gone, In Case You Need Love, and Choose Beggar. That first side's really good. Not as into the second side of the album, but still really good. The Real Me, Go to Baseline. Here's Sonny and Cher's Look at Us debut album. It's a pretty good album. Of course, it has I Got You, Babe. That's easily the best song on this album. C'est La Vie is pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. John Paul Jones, Better Than Entwistle. I'm going to strongly disagree with you on that, but you are entitled to your opinion. I will say though, John Paul Jones is a great bass player. I don't think John Paul Jones ever gets the credit he deserves. So even though I strongly disagree with this comment, I'm glad you're giving that guy respect. I think John Paul Jones is extremely discredited as a bass player, and it hurts me because he's really great at the bass playing. Wondrous World of Sonny and Cher. I slightly like this more. There is a song where Sonny goes, I I never thought I'd be cutting a record on my own. I'm like, yeah, I can imagine that because your voice sucks, Sonny. No offense, but I mean, yeah, take all the offense you can because your singing voice sucks. Here is In Case You're in Love. Love that song. Love that album, I mean. And here is Sonny and Cher. It's a compilation of their first two albums. Nothing really much more to add. Well, the first and the third album, I should say. Both great arrangers and multi-instrumentalists. Yes, I agree. I love Geezer's. Oh, yeah, Geezer Butler's bass playing on Nib is amazing. I love Nib. I need more Black Sabbath albums. I only have one Black Sabbath album. I need more. I subbed you, Sound Lab. I don't know if I'll just go into the comments. I play Fender Precious Bass. You have Mom albums. I don't know if that's an insult or not. My bass is a Square. Cool. Black Sabbath. Yes. I wish I had more Black Sabbath. Even if I did have Black Sabbath. Even if I do have Black Sabbath, it's only even if I did have Black Sabbath, this would not be the right video because it's not. I'm going alphabetically, I should say. Sorry for the stumbling. Or he has diverse musical taste? Question mark. Thank you, Scott, for defending me. Here is Steely Dan. Can't Buy a Thrill. This is their first album. Shout outs to Scott in the comment section. He's the one who got me this album. No, he got me Asia, but he pointed me to this album. But really, really good album. Can't Buy a Thrill. Some really killer songs. Bring on Gotcho. Yeah, I'll never own that album. Sorry, Scott. Do It Again. Dirty Work. Kings. Midnight Cruiser. Asia, my fave. Asia, my fave. That's a great one. Only Fool Would Say That. Reeling in the Years. Yeah, well, it's a really good album. I'm not a big Steely Dan fan, but that's one of my favorites. Can't Buy a Thrill is perfect. Every song's a banger. My favorite band, named after a dildo. Alrighty then. I have no comments on that. Here's Only a Fool is Better Than Imagine. Well, let's see how that trickles down in the comments. Here's Asia. I do own the album. Asia Boy. I do have this album on vinyl. Definitely a good album. That's the origin of the name Steely Dan. Yeah, I don't. That's true. That's definitely a way a band starts their name. Okay. Here's Steppenwolf, Born to Be Wild, from a William Burroughs book, if I'm not mistaken. Google it. I'll Google it after this video because I'm in the middle of the video. Born to Be Wild, of course, is on here. But I do really like this album. Sookie Sookie. Everybody's Next One. Barry Rides Again. Desperation. It's great. The Pusher. Girl I Knew. Some great songs on here. I think it's a criminally underrated album. Steppenwolf in general, I think, is underrated. Here's their second album, Steppenwolf the Second. Of course, this has their big single, Magic Carpet Ride, Faster Than the Speed of Life, I really enjoy. Tighten Up Your Wig. I have that album, but I haven't heard it. I love CSMY. Neil Young is the best. Yeah, that's a great band. That was in one of my earlier top 100. Not top 100. That was one of my first 100. One of my first vinyl collection videos. Sorry, my brain's farting right now. Can't think. Yeah, there's that album. I have the third album, Monster. Really good album. At Your Birthday Party. Really good album. I'm just going to go buy these because I know not many people are going to be that interested in. Steppenwolf. Here's Steppenwolf 7. Here's two albums I have from an artist called Stevie B. Yeah, Stevie B, Part of Your Body. He's a dance artist. He's like a dance artist from the 80s. If you like party music, well, this is a good album. If you don't, well, I recommend don't listen to it at all. And here's Stevie B, In My Eyes. Okay, now for LMAO. Stevie B, nah. Well, there's another Stevie B. Yikes. That's what happens when I have a big variety of music. There's going to be albums you agree with, and then there's albums that you're going to go, what the fuck? So, I do have Stevie Wonder. So, that's a Stevie I hope you guys like. Here's his debut album, Jazz Soul of Little Stevie. It's an instrumental jazz album. if you don't like jazz music, then I wouldn't go anywhere near it. Here's his album, Down to Earth. Um, Great album. I have two Taylor Swift albums. Ha ha ha. Um, I like Taylor Swift, so I definitely plan on owning Red at some point. Stevie Wonder, not blind, he's faking. Red? Question mark. Yeah, that might be one of the albums he has. I don't know. Here is My Sherry Amour, the last 60s albums he released. Here is Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours. It's a great album. Where I'm Coming From. And yeah, it's a pretty great album. Here's Music of My Mind. This is where most people will say this is like this is where it all started. The big period of his music was when he did this album where his music got really good, where like Phil Collins, only in Genesis LOL. Phil stuff more cringe than Eric Clapton's. Here's a Talking Book. Great album. I'm gonna move that light a little bit. That's when he had vision. I don't know if you're talking about like that's when the music got good. That's the case. That'll be funny. Here is Inner Visions. Great album, by the way. More comments I have to pick up. The bands that take up the most property in my collection are Zappa, Ventures, Stones, Rush, Kiss, and Queen. Ah, Queen. A man of taste. Love Queen. Here's For Holiness' First Finale, which is a great album. Here's an album that do love. Songs in the Key of Life. This album is one of the best albums ever made. If you've been keeping up on my top 100 albums, sadly this didn't make it on there because I completely forgot about it. Actually, there'd be a lot more Stevie Wonder if I did remember to put him on there. This album especially, though. Love Songs in the Key of Life. Here's The Secret Life of Plants. Weird album. I think Beach Boys in Chicago for me, but only because they have a million albums. That's the one right there. Yeah, Songs in the Key of Life is a phenomenal album. An album I totally recommend people listen to from Stevie Wonder if they want to get into him. Masterpiece album. Weird album. I like Weird Al. I like Weird Al. Here's his soundtrack to Woman in Red with the very iconic song, I Just Called to Say I Love You. Here is this is his album, in Square Circle. Not one of his best albums, but I think it's pretty underrated. And here's Jungle Fever, his soundtrack, another soundtrack album he did. And lastly, Stevie Wonder Live. Well, 8 people watching. Who's laughing now, Carl? Yeah, I know. This is the most I've ever gotten in views on my stream, so very, very happy. Here's Styx. I remember, I think I could have sworn someone mentioning Styx, but here's Styx's The Grand Illusion. Good album. Love Bee Gees, Donna Summer, and ABBA, Best Disco. Yeah, Bee Gees I love. ABBA, I love ABBA. ABBA is like one of my all-time favorite artists. I have 2 Supertramp albums. Here's Even in the Quietest Moments. I remember one of you guys. I think you were the one who mentioned Styx. Well, I do have a Styx album. I definitely plan on owning Pieces of Eight. I think Pieces of Eight is another great album. Plan on getting. That's another album I definitely plan on getting. Here is Breakfast in America, their most famous album. Paradise Tears, great. Yeah, that's another album I plan on getting. Here is A Bit of Liverpool by the Supremes, the one and only Supremes album I own at the moment. And lastly, second lastly, Eye of the Tiger by Survivors. The cover for Breakfast in America has 9/11 symbol in it. Yeah. She's holding the OJ over Twin Towers. Yeah, I remember. Yep. There we go. Yeah. Well, actually, this is the second last album. Sweet. Desolation Boulevard. Great album. Eye of the cover is pretty cool. I love that album cover. What I love about the album cover, it has the band in the eye. UP backwards is 9/11. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's insane. And I do have one more album. Sid Barrett. So that'll conclude Def Leppard, Pyromania has Twin Towers being targeting, exploding. Illuminati run music industry. This will be the end of my video. I need the Barrett solo albums. Yes. I think the first album's really good. Just Sid Barrett. Forgetting the name of the album, but I remember Barrett's first album's really good. I want to own that one. No conspiracy theories here. Great album. Hey Jordan. But yeah, that'll conclude the album showcase. I will have one. Yeah, the Madcap. Thank you. I have every Pink Floyd album up until the final cuts. I actually have every Pink Floyd album. If you want, I actually uploaded it. It's on part 3. Don Joe for Zararelli. Part 3 will have all my Pink Floyd albums, so check that video out. Sid Barrett didn't leave because of drugs. Roger Waters got him out. And I'd argue with you that Sid Barrett was starting to lose touch around this time, and Gilmour is a better guitarist. David Gilmour is Pink Floyd. I mean, I love early Pink Floyd, so I'm gonna disagree. I like early Pink Floyd, but yeah, in terms of guitar playing, I will say David Gilmour is great. Okay, I'm gonna head on out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I have newcomers giving me comments. Nature Boy, thank you very much. Don Joe, thank you very much. And Anthony Peterson, thank you very much for commenting. And of course, recurring, of course, is Scott from Soundlab Studios giving me your comments. Here's the last comment I'll read. And if the band starts in playing different tunes, it was the drugs. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. So long.